and welcome to Scotland. We're in the Highlands in Fort William because today we're going to ride on the Jacobite Steam Train. This train is really famous because it featured in the Harry Potter films. As you can see, unfortunately the weather isn't really on our side. It's a bit patchy, windy, rainy, but hopefully we still will get great views of the Scottish countryside. We're on our way to Mallaig, which is around 50 kilometers away. We'll explore Mallaig for a few hours and then we'll hop back on the train for the other way. If you want to experience the train, then you actually have to book many months in advance. We're currently in mid-August, but we booked our tickets all the way back in February. We're going to be in the first class because it wasn't that much more expensive and we wanted to have the authentic experience with the traditional carts. Unfortunately though, that isn't going to happen really because actually we've been given a diesel locomotive. The usual one is a steam one, but it's under maintenance. The most incredible views of all have to be onto the Glenfinnan Viaduct, and the train actually stops here for several minutes to allow you to take photos. But to be honest, the best views of all are from the train passing, and so if you have time while in the area, I do recommend heading to Glenfinnan Viaduct, not on the train. There's a short scheduled stop just after the Glenfinnan Viaduct at Glenfinnan Station. There's a small museum here which you can visit for free and also a small dining car. The stop is only 20 minutes, so I don't think you would have time to eat or drink anything in the dining car. The museum is pretty tiny, but it's completely free to visit if you're on the train, and you'll learn a lot about the history of the local area and the train itself. It's then time to sit back, relax, and enjoy views of the Scottish Highlands. We've just arrived in Mallaig, where we'll stop for 2 hours before we take the train all the way back to Fort William. So let's go and see what this tiny fishing town has to offer. The track between Fort William and Mallaig dates all the way back to 1901 when this track was built with lots of help from funding from the government in order to promote access to this local area, which is very remote. We're in the northwest of Scotland, and you can actually see the tip of the Isle of Skye from here. In 1984, a steam-hauled locomotive was introduced on part of the line in order to encourage tourism in the area. And this has just boomed since the Harry Potter film, where the Jacobite was used as a filming location, of course, for the Hogwarts Express. Since the 80s, there has been some kind of tourist train on and off over the decades, and the one that you do now is the Jacobite Steam Train. This usually has 2 services as long as there are no technical issues. I think the most important question is the Jacobite train worth it? To be honest, the answer depends on a few factors. The first is that it is very pricey. I think it's just under £100 per person if you take the first class, which I do recommend because the normal one is just like a normal train carriage, so you won't really get the advantage of sitting in a very luxurious seat and having the complimentary tea and coffee. There's no denying that the views from the train are absolutely stunning. And if you're a Harry Potter fan, then you can also see a lot of iconic spots, including Dumbledore's final resting place and the Glenfinnan Viaduct. However, as of 2024, there are a few issues with taking the Jacobite train, which I'll now go into. As of today, as we're filming this, service actually only has 3.5 stars, so I'm clearly not the only person to have these thoughts. Essentially, there seems to be a bit of a disconnect between what is advertised on the glossy photos on the website and the service actually provided, and that's on all parts of the service and train. So essentially, you're advertised that you're going to probably take a steam train. Unfortunately, it does say in the terms and conditions that you might be provided with a diesel locomotive in case of emergencies and things like that. Basically, what's happening at the moment is that though that there are 2 train services a day, only one of them is the steam service, and we were given the diesel one, so we didn't get to see any of the steam train. The other issue is the actual wagons themselves. So back when we booked the train, I think in February or January or something, we got shown photos of these beautiful wooden carriages that date back to the 20th century. Unfortunately, they have now been banned and aren't allowed on the actual railway. So in place of that, there are modern carriages which feel like they're not much older than normal train carriages. And to be honest with you, the actual train journey, if you don't take the Jacobite one, is only £20 return per person. So this is 5 times more than that, and it doesn't really feel like value for money given the current situation. Mallaig's quite small, and so you won't feel like you're missing out if you've only got a 2-hour stop here, because you can visit a cafe, visit the bookshop, go to the Harry Potter store, or wander around the marina. In fact, if you go there, you might even see a seal like we did. For the return journey, we're actually in a different carriage. So you go in A and come back in B, or vice versa. And as you can see, the furnishings are a bit different. Unfortunately, due to health and safety reasons, you're not allowed to take photos out of any of the windows anymore, the windows that open. Of course, you can still take your photos out of these windows, but they are a bit dirty, especially if it's rained. And actually, there's still windows that open in the gaps between carriages, but there's a security guard along each stretch of this, and so you're not allowed to leave your carriage during the train moving in case you take a photo out the window. So all the photos you've seen on social media out the window, no longer allowed. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more UK travel movies. See you next time. Bye!